Welcome to this new video, everyone. In this one it's about this shader you can currently see. I don't really have a name for this shader, but I thought it looks cool and wanted to share how to create this shader. This time we'll start in Blender because we need a sphere with more polygons for the displacement, so just add a subdivision surface modifier to the standard cube and shade it smooth and save it. Then you can drag and drop it in, and I already put it into the scene, so let's create a shader, a PBR graph. Now let's open up the shader and start by adding the Voronoi noise, which is the base of the whole shader. We will use the same kind of triplanar method we used in the other shaders, so add the position set to object space into the UV. And to get a scrolling effect, just plug a time node into the angle offset. Copy the whole thing because we need to project it from two different angles. Put a rotate about axis node in between the position and Voronoi for the second one, and rotate it 90 degrees on the y-axis. Now add both of them together. Create a new property. We won't add both of them together yet. We need to modify each of them first. So put an add node for both of them and plug the property addition in, and then we'll use the power node and create a property to be able to adjust the applied power. Do all the steps for both, and at the end add both of them together. You could have also first made one of them and then duplicated the whole thing. Might take less time than what I did here. Now to adjust the colors, create a primary color and multiply it with what we got out of the Voronoi textures. And to be able to adjust the intensity, as you saw, the inner part glowed, and that's because the intensity was higher than 1. So just multiply the color with the strength or intensity or whatever you want to call it. Then use the thing with a 1- node to get the inverted colors for the secondary color. Also multiply that one to get the colors, and then a strength or intensity to be able to make it glow. You could also use the emission, but I just wanted to use the albedo for everything to not care about the emission. Now add them together and simply plug it into the albedo. And what I forgot is you need to clamp it to have the values of it not go below 0 or higher than 1, but you don't need to clamp it afterwards because we want some values to be greater than 1 for the intensity. Now let's add the position node to modify the displacement and the normal vector, set both to object space. Put an add node there and multiply the normal vector with our displacement, which is the Voronoi output, and make a new property for the amount of displacement. Just multiply that as well. And then put it into the add node where the position is already in, and then plug that into the position after we are on the master node. Now let's test how it looks right now. We still need to adjust some values to make it look right. Right now the displacement is way too high, so put it down. This already looks better, but there's a problem here. The colors need to be inverted for the result I was looking for. So just go into the shader and add a 1- node earlier, right here. Between the add and the clamp, just do the 1- to invert all the colors. And now it should look fine. As you can see, it looks still a bit bumpy, but by tweaking the values you can achieve more of the look I was going for and the one you saw at the beginning of the video. Now I'll start to add the colors. I'll choose blue for the inner part and adjust the intensity to make it glow. This already doesn't look too bad. Now I still want to be able to control the metallic values and the smoothness values, so we will create metallic and smoothness properties for both the primary and the secondary color. So for properties total, primary metallic, primary smoothness, secondary metallic and secondary smoothness. This is now a pretty simple thing to do. Just multiply the the output of the add node with the primary properties and the output of the 1- node behind the add node with their secondary properties. and then add the multiply nodes of the metallic and of the smoothness together. And at the end, plug that one of the metallic into the metallic of the PBR master and one of the smoothness into the smoothness, and it's basically all done. Now it seems like I messed up a little with the primary and secondary, and now the primary metallic is the one for the secondary and the secondary the one for the primary, but that's not a real problem. Just tweak the secondary if you want the primary to be changed, or you can also change the connections in the shader, but it's, as I said, not really any problem. Or just rename the properties in the shader, that probably would be easier. Now that